Okay, folks, it's time for the segment we haven't done for a few weeks. It's Tank Watch time. We're going to dive into the teams that are in the mix to try and be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, or that maybe you're trying not to be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes but can't help themselves. Then it's important to know the rules here. Stock up means that your team is bad and that your stock is rising to end up in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Stock down means that your team is playing better. Why are we doing this in a convoluted way? Because this segment is dumb, and why wouldn't we just get as dumb as possible with it, right?
Right.
So, Spins, stock up. Who are you going with?
This week for stock up, I am going with the Washington Wizards. 6 losses in a row as we're currently recording this right now. Ton of guys banged up, a lot of injuries taking place. And look, Kristaps Porzingis has been playing well. We have not seen him and Bradley Beal play a ton of minutes together. I still have questions about just the overall fits of guys on this roster. And there's a huge portion of this that's influenced by how the rest of the league is doing. That 1-6-7 game losing streak in early December, late November can really impact where you sit next to your peers. And I think we've seen quite a few teams in the Eastern Conference continue to win games, maybe survive an injury or two and surpass Washington in the standings. To me, that's more about things leveling out to where they predictably should have been closer to the start of this season. I don't know where you weigh in on the Wizards right now. I haven't watched a ton of their games over the last week, but it just seems like they're going to struggle to find a groove if they don't get everybody healtha really quickly.
Yeah, I agree. So they played the Clippers. What was that? I think that was yesterday, right? Might have been 2 days ago. And they had Will Barton out, Bradley Beal out, DeLon Wright out. I think Monte Morris didn't play in that game as well. And Johnny Davis was still in the G League. That's a bad sign to me. You have all these guys out, and he's still not able to win a spot. I watched like some of his G League stuff earlier today, and so like the overall numbers here in the G League for Johnny Davis: 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 43% from the field, 35% from 3. That's in the G League for Johnny Davis. He just feels a little more invisible at that level than what you'd like to see. And it's hard. Like, I don't know what to do with him. He might just not have it, which is bad.
It's bad, particularly if they wind up somewhere in February and saying, okay, it's time to maybe pull the plug on the season or embrace getting our younger guys some real NBA minutes. And Davis hasn't gotten the confidence down in the G League to show that he can handle that, or he's just simply not getting better as a basketball player in the ways that he needs to. We talked about, his handle, his fluidity as somebody who attacks the basket as more of a primary option. I always thought his defense was going to be maybe his most translatable skill to the NBA level, but he's got to be able to cobble something together on the offensive end of the floor in order to really be worth continued investment from the Wizards right here. We've also talked a lot about the redundancies of some of the positions that they have with younger guys. That, constructing a roster where, Kyle Kuzma is playing really well. How do you carve out minutes for Corey Kispert and Denny Avdia and Rui Hachimura and all of these different guys that are still on their rookie deals? How do you draft Johnny Davis and then go out there and sign or trade for guys like Will Barton and Monte Morris and, have Jordan Goodwin earn a spot on this team? It's just really hard to know what they have building towards the future, which makes this kind of a directionless winter in some regards, where if they do fall out of the playoff race, I have no idea what to expect from them in terms of what direction they go and who they try to prioritize for next steps.
Yeah, and like the hope for Johnny Davis was like that he could be like an on-ball creator kind of that could live off of his pull-up jump shot a little bit and could defend at a high level and be like a complementary starter, right? The good news, I guess, is that like the complementary skills have kind of showcased in the G League. I think he's been pretty okay defensively. And then on top of it, he is making his catch and shoot jumpers. So I pulled up his numbers here in the G League. He's made 42% of his catch and shoot threes so far this year. He's only taken 19 of them, but it's a good sign. The problem is that he's making 21% of his jumpers off the dribble right now. And he has this is a guy that like has never really had much of a like floater game. He has an in-between game just based off of like the mid-range pull-up, but like he's never had that like craft as like a forward attacker trying to, knock down that little floater in the 8 to 12 foot range. A shot that's really important for him is someone who's like in the 6'3" to 6'4" range. I guess like maybe, I think he's a little over 6'4", maybe is what he came in at. So I don't know, man. Like, maybe it is a little bit weird to me that like he can't get on the court if he's going to make catch and shoot threes and is going to defend at a reasonable level. But like the Wizards like just straight up like inverted their offense sort of kind of in this Clippers game where like Jordan Goodwin played some point guard, but like they initiated a lot with Denny Avdia. They initiated a lot with Kyle Kuzma, right? There were only two guards that played in this game for the Wizards, Jordan Goodwin and Devon Dotson, both of whom are undrafted guys. Devon Dotson a couple of years ago, Jordan Goodwin this year. Like, if he can't get minutes over those guys, or like just can't even like, I mean, you're playing like, I guess that they like played some Corey, like they played a lot of Corey Kispert minutes at the 3 in that game, like some minutes at the 2, I guess, for Kispert. I don't know, man. I would like to see Johnny Davis, I guess, is the thing. Johnny Davis, please come back. But yeah, I mean, this is a guy that like I know missed a little bit of time early in the season with some COVID stuff. Maybe they're trying to ramp him back up. I don't know, man. I'm concerned. Even with that, like I'm concerned about this, and I just hope that he is being developed in the right way.
Yeah, I think that there's something to be said for when you know your franchise player is Bradley Beal, that you need the right type of guard to work next to him. And if Johnny Davis is going to be more of a spot up catch and shoot 2 guard who, defends well and just doesn't operate with the ball in his hands a ton, I don't know how well that meshes with Bradley Beal. Like if that's the vision from day one and we're not trying to explore more, that seems like as much of a philosophical problem for how you projected Johnny Davis's role next to what you're building for than it does kind of Davis realizing his skill.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, that's definitely tank watch up. The vibes are not good right now in Washington. They are 4 games below 500 in what is a playoff race that is going to be exceptionally tight as the season progresses. So this is not good. This is very not good.